What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTB Ravens Media. Bring you Ravens content every single day. If you want to see the daily Ravens content, please make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But this is the Trust the Bank podcast. You see myself and Joshua. We're going to have a lot of fun today. And what will happen if you've never seen the show before, if you've never seen the podcast before, we got 3 segments that we'll be going over. We'll be talking about Hollywood in this video. We'll be talking about Hayden Hurst in the next one. And then we got Is This Stupid segment coming out. But if you really want to hear all those segments, they will be up on the podcast platforms, on Spotify, on Apple, on wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to that, and you can listen to all 3 segments at one time. But it's going to be a lot of fun. Going to be probably about 45 minutes. So 3 segments, 15 minutes each-ish. But the first thing is something that I saw on Twitter yesterday a lot, which is pretty surprising. But all of a sudden, there's been like this movement of people that are all about trading Hollywood Brown. What do you think about that, Joshua? Just like, man, it's just like out of nowhere. Just like, let's trade Hollywood. What do you think?
Honestly, it doesn't make sense to me, nor will it. Nah, it just doesn't make sense to me. I can't even formulate my words. Because like, what's the purpose of trading to Hollywood? Is it because we got Samuel Hopkins? Is it because we drafted Rashad Bateman? I mean, this young man can he can get you over 500 yards plus over a season. He can get you the touchdowns. Is it because he's not separating from the wide receivers, or is it because of the comment that he made a year ago about you're not using the soldiers? I mean, I'm trying to figure out what's the reason behind fans letting him go. Is it to send him to Atlanta and make him the next Tyler Gabriel and get Julio Jones? Like, is that what we're doing here? Or maybe send him to Arizona and give Kyler Murray another weapon and Kyler Murray get to a Super Bowl before Lamar Jackson, and then be and then Ravens fans will be super pissed off. Wow, man, we said trade him, but not trade him to another good team. Well, hey, that was the only person. That's the only team that was available that was willing to bite on that trade. So to say let's trade Hollywood, y'all gotta give me a strong reason for me to agree with it. And then that is the only receiver, in my opinion, that Lamar Jackson has the strongest connection with. And I don't see that breakup coming anytime soon. And personally, if the breakup does happen in the near future, I think their growth is going to and their potential without each other is going to decline. I'm saying it right now because they just have that strong connection. They make each other better. They come. I think in the beginning of his rookie season, Hollywood lived with Lamar. Of course they come to the games. They leave out together. They've been working out together. Stuff like that. It's literally a brother, connection with those two guys. So I don't know about some of our Ravens fans. They must just signed on maybe about a year or 2 ago, and don't realize that we haven't had any real good wide receiver. I mean, the only wide receiver connection and quarterback connection that was really shown, I would say Joe Flacco and Torrey Smith. But other than that, I can't really remember nobody. That was homegrown.
I mean, we've always had the quarterback to tight end duo, the Flacco Pittas, the Lamar to Mark Andrews. But for me, I'm gonna say right now, I wouldn't even trade Hollywood for Julio Jones straight up. And people may think, oh, that's so stupid. Why would you ever think that? But here's why. Hollywood is probably Lamar Jackson's best friend in the NFL. We're trying to sign this man to a contract extension. You don't trade the best friend of the guy you're trying to keep long term.
Make it make
Why
sense.
would you do that? There's no way he's signing that contract extension unless you went to him and you were like, "Hey, Lamar, we're gonna trade Hollywood unless you don't want us to." Then he'd be like, "You're still like trying to shop my best friend." I mean, like, look at what Lamar's been trying to do for his friends. Jalen Smith, he got, undrafted, tried to get him on the team. The Ravens signed him to the practice squad. He played, I think, in the preseason. I think it was 2 years ago. He tried to get him on. Now we got Dante Silencio. I still don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but a high school teammate of Lamar. Signed to the Ravens for the practice squad, potentially, trying to make the team. But, Lamar's trying to give his buddies some help. Heck, even Tyler Huntley, from the same area, Lamar's rival from high school, good buddies now, like all those types of things. Lamar is trying to help the guys that, he grew up with. And, I'm sure, in the draft process, he was talking with Eric DeCosta and was like, yeah, my guy Hollywood. I mean, we saw Lamar's reaction when they drafted Hollywood. Like, he was so happy when he got his buddy Hollywood from Florida to come down and be able to play with him. And now, like, talking about trading him, it's his best friend. Like, why would you stay with a team that trades away your best friend from your team, even if it was to get Julio Jones? Lamar doesn't have an agent, and that's not a bad thing. You can do what you want. But that shows that, like, for him, it's personal. He wants to be in there doing the negotiations. He wants to be the guy talking with EDC to making those decisions. He didn't sign an agent. When he got drafted, he wanted to be the one talking. Him and his mom were talking, and they were like it's a very personal thing for him and his mom. And trading away somebody's best friend, like, if you have an agent, the agent would be like, all right, man, yeah, it's your good friend, but I got to tell you, man, he's not going to help us win a Super Bowl. You want to win Super Bowls, you got to go get Julio Jones. And I understand that perspective. But Lamar doesn't have that perspective. Lamar's all about, doing it for his hometown, doing it for his guys, and winning that Super Bowl his way. He wouldn't switch to wide receiver to win a Super Bowl. He would play quarterback and win the Super Bowl his own way. And Hollywood Brown is his guy. He will always stick up for Hollywood Brown. And I really don't see that the Ravens trading him, like, even if it could be smart. Like I said, if the Ravens traded Hollywood and like a 3rd round pick for Julio, that'd be a great trade. Like, value-wise, that'd be amazing for 1 year, but Lamar wouldn't. There's a good chance then Lamar doesn't re-sign, and then you're like, oh, crap. Not only did we get a rental for Julio, but we lost our chance on Lamar Jackson for the future. Yeah. And that's so critical. And I think people are really overlooking that. What happened with Deshaun Watson? Like, what happened to Aaron Rodgers? These guys got pissed off by their general management, and they wanted out. That was the whole problem. Deshaun, all of a sudden, they trade his best wide receiver, and he's like, what the heck are you guys doing?
Right.
Aaron Rodgers is like, man, y'all didn't tell me anything. That was Aaron Rodgers' whole problem. He was like, you guys aren't telling me anything. I want wide receivers. I want an offensive line. And they're like, we give you a quarterback. He's like, what the? Man, give me a wide receiver. I'm not trying to throw to Marquez Valdez-Scantling. And now he may retire. He's already requested the trade. Like, I don't think Lamar's the type of guy where they would be like, we traded Hollywood, and he'd be like, I'm gone. But it would start to put that doubt, because I think right now he's like, I want to be a Raven. Like, absolutely 100%. I don't think he's contemplating leaving. But if we trade his best friend, then all of a sudden that those thoughts start creeping in. And that's not good whatsoever. You can't piss off your quarterback when you're trying to negotiate a contract extension. If you sign Lamar to the contract extension, maybe trade Hollywood, it's still a pretty, bad move, not a nice move, not respectable, but at least it wouldn't be like completely hurting the team. I don't think EDC's trading him, but like, what would it take for you, Joshua, to trade Hollywood? What would you have to get?
Honestly, it's not going to be Julio Jones. You got to give me somebody like Allen Robinson, Henry Ruggs, heck, Justin Jefferson or Jamal Chase. You have to give me someone that has to be over the top, somebody I can see, being part of the franchise for years. And if you're willing to tank because let's be real. I feel like if Lamar Jackson is loyal to the Ravens, he's loyal to Baltimore. And I love the fact that he has Baltimore in his heart. For the simple fact that we're the team that gave him a chance to play his role as a quarterback. But do I feel like there's opportunities out there for him to thrive somewhere else? Possibly Washington. Maybe there's so many other teams. Maybe even Minnesota. Hey, could it happen? Yeah. If y'all got to be willing to go through that dark year and go draft that quarterback from Clemson, because he's going to be a top 5 pick. I think he come from St. John Bosco. He's like, I think his name DJ, last name starts with an O. I can't pronounce it right now, but he's going to be a freshman this year at Clemson. So I can see him being at Clemson for maybe two years, and then maybe us going at him, because if you get like an Allen Robinson, if you get a Justin Jefferson, if you get a Jamar Chase, a wide receiver to add on the opposite side of the Rashad Bateman, and Giro actually puts in a passing game, maybe this will definitely be the defining year of us actually making it to the Super Bowl, because we have been Super Bowl contenders since 2018. Ever since Lamar Jackson came in and took over the rest of the season and got us into the playoffs. So it would have to be a big splash for me to agree with the Hollywood trade. I know it's not going to happen, but some Ravens fans are going to say, "Damn, Joshua, just give up the whole house." I mean, hell, you talking about giving up half the house? Excuse me, in Hollywood. I mean, we are building that this offensive foundation brick by brick. You started off with a quarterback who was is our franchise quarterback. All right, bet. Now let's go ahead and get him some offensive linemen. You got Ronnie Stanley. Then you get Orlando Brown Jr. Then you add somebody from his hometown as a key weapon in a Marquise. Then you get tight ends, Mark Andrews, Hayden Hurst, stuff like that. You can't start building a foundation and then start taking pieces away when we're just a brick away or a piece away from getting to where we want to be, which is a Super Bowl and winning it. So
yeah, you can't take the bottom corner of the Egyptian pyramid because you're missing a piece at the top. It doesn't work like that. You got to do it in another way. I think that my opinion, the only way we do this trade is if Lamar Jackson comes to Eric DeCosta and says trade Hollywood, which would never happen. Like for me, like it's pretty disrespectful. I've talked about the Hollywood Brown disrespect so many times. People got to chill on like the disrespect. Like, what numbers do they want him to put up? Like, he puts up decent numbers, especially in this offense. He's putting up about 750 yards on average this season and about 7-8 touchdowns in a fully run heavy team. He's the only wide receiver that's producing. Like, oh wow, the wide receivers help. It's like, yeah, but like we don't use them, and like all the other wide receivers are doing horrible. Hollywood's actually playing well, and in the playoffs he plays amazing. But let us know in the comments down below what you guys think about Hollywood Brown. Kind of a possible trade. If you have a trade that you would like, yeah, I'd do this. Even if Lamar didn't like it, let us know. Thank you all for watching. Subscribe to Daily Ravens content. But